This is the DAR Today podcast, and I'm your host, Brooke Bullmaster Stewart. Well, we have an exciting episode for you today. And as you know, we try in this podcast to bring you stories about our American history. And today we have two interesting reminders about the way our country has developed, and both happened right here in this first week of June. First, in the early 1770s, more and more colonists became convinced that British Parliament intended to take away their freedom. Well, after fighting broke out in Massachusetts in the spring of 1775, the king declared the colonists, as many of you might remember, and I quote, in a state of open and avowed rebellion, end quote. For the first time, many colonists began to seriously consider cutting ties with Britain. Well, the clearest call for independence up to the summer of 1776 came in Philadelphia on June 7th. On that date, in session in the Pennsylvania State House, later Independence Hall, the Continental Congress heard Richard Henry Lee of Virginia read in his resolution beginning, and I quote, "Resolved that these united colonies are and of right ought to be free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the great state of Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved," end quote. Imagine what a frightening thought that was to so many people at the time. The Lee Resolution, though, was an expression of what was already beginning to happen throughout the colonies. But think about those incredible words. To use the phrase that people say nowadays, they said the quiet part out loud. Another milestone in our American history that wasn't perfect at its adoption, but it was definitely a step along the path to a better situation. 100 years ago, on June 2nd, the Indian Citizenship Act of 1924 was enacted. This was an act of the United States Congress that recognized indigenous peoples of the United States as U.S. citizens. And while the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution defines a citizen as persons born in the United States and subject to its laws and jurisdiction, the amendment had previously been interpreted by the courts not to apply to Native peoples. Of course, as we mentioned, this was by no means perfect, but it was a better step than what had been before. Our DAR Society is actively involved in promoting the significant contribution Native peoples had on our American history. And for this podcast, we hope to feature the work that committee does in September of this year. So stay tuned for that. But let's jump into today's episode. We'll start with an interview with the national co-chair of the Continental Congress Committee, Connie Olde. She'll tell us about some neat things that are happening at Congress, things to look out for. And because our Continental Congress is for every member, whether or not you attend Congress, we'll have a segment about the 10 best tips and tricks and things to know and look out for so that we can all get the most out of Continental Congress this summer. So let's get right into it. And hey, thanks so much for being here with us today. Connie Olde, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today. Of course, we all know you as the Continental Congress co-chair. And what are you looking forward to the most with Continental Congress?
Oh, I can't wait. And it's only a few days. I'm looking forward to all the wonderful people that we get to meet there. But my favorite is always opening night. And to watch the pageantry and the processionals and watching the flag drop from the ceiling is the most spectacular moment to start off our wonderful event. And we're so excited to have so many daughters planning to attend all different aspects and all different events at Continental Congress.
Yeah, tell us about that. How would you recommend that they go about kind of planning that week?
It's a challenge because there's so many great things that go on throughout the week. And sometimes there are forums, sometimes there's different workshops, there are places to explore. Of course, our beautiful buildings. You have no idea how big that city block is until you walk through it and see the furnishings and see, of course, and spend time in our museum. unbelievable. It's beautiful. And we have this fabulous genealogical library, which lots of ladies come to spend the week uh, searching for ancestors and patriots. So there's so much to do. And we're looking at the schedule. We have business sessions and evening events, and we have exciting different things to go to. There are luncheons and dinners and breakfasts. There's just too many things to do to fit in your schedule.
It really is. My husband often wonders why I can't, oh, why aren't you calling me more? I said, you have no idea. The whole week is absolutely full, but I do love it's like what you said. There's something for everybody. And if
Mhm.
you tend to be more of a, back of the house person, you like to help just you volunteer your time, or you're into bylaws and protocol, there's something for you. If you're into the DAR school, right? That there's really something for everybody there.
Well, each day presents different ideas. So we kind of start off with Wednesday as opening night, but then Thursday is education awards evening, in which we present all kinds of wonderful awards. And of course, they announce the outstanding junior, which is very important to our younger women. They look forward to that. And then Friday, we're going to have a wonderful time. It's Sparkle and Service Night, and that's held at the hotel, in which all our members have the opportunity to see the full scope of all the different committees that we support, meet the national chairs, learn what is going on throughout our nation, supporting patriotism, education, and historic preservation. So there's something for everybody there. And you'll bump into people from all over the world, make new friends. So that's an exciting event. And then, of course, Saturday night. Oh, patriotism at the highest. We get to see military uniforms everywhere. We have fabulous speakers. And of course, that evening, you just come away being so proud to be a DAR member, to support all of our troops, our service personnel, everything. It's just a fabulous evening. And then Sunday, we have our memorial service to celebrate and the dedication of our members for the lives and their volunteer work. And then after that is the installation of our newly elected National Board of Management members. So, the week goes by very quickly. We have lots to do, lots to see, and lots of new friendships to make.
Yes. And I think we were talking earlier too about working, volunteering your time at Continental Congress. I think you have a nice little tip for that. You want to tell everybody about it?
Oh, yes. We have 21 different committees that volunteer during Continental Congress throughout our buildings. And so, therefore, if you would like to get involved and meet new people, oh my goodness, you have to come and volunteer. So just have your state regent put your name in for next year. And the dates next year are the 24th of June to the 29th, 2025. So think ahead and plan to come back and enjoy time with your fellow daughters.
I think some people end up making some really good friendships, don't they?
Oh, yes. Um, Serving as a past page, I made some fabulous friends over the years, and we still can't wait to get together every year back at Continental Congress. And of course, I will put in a plug for Page Reunion Night for all those of you who have served in the past as a page. We get together, we take group pictures of the years that we paged together, and then we add to the processional. And to see that evening with us lined up all three aisles of pages is absolutely beautiful. I hope that if you have paged in the past, you'll come join us and wear that sash again.
So, Connie, how about those who cannot attend this year? What would we say to them?
What a great question. I love it. They can use the website, go on, and they'll find out all the information how to log on to the live streams. So we live stream every single business and evening event in Constitution Hall. So you will be privy to all that's going on and take that wonderful information back to your chapters. think about the things that people are doing all over the world to support our missions. And you'll be part of it because you can sit there from the comfort of your home and watch what our daughters are doing at those different sessions.
And then to see the grandeur of everything that's happening in Constitution Hall, to see the gowns on these different formal evenings, right?
Well, the advantage of these ability to get in and look at our live streams will be, you'll see my favorite, the dropping of the flag during the processional opening night. You can enjoy it as much as I.
What would you say is one last thing that you could leave us with that we want to remember? Maybe some sort of tip for us that make sure we remember this.
Okay, 2 things. Number 1, you pack Band-Aids, because sometimes those tight, beautiful brand new shoes are not broken in enough. But the most important thing is that you leave room in your suitcase, because, oh, ladies, we're going to shop. They have the most fabulous shops in the lounge, which is next to the staircases in the foyer of Constitution Hall. If you go down the staircases, oh my goodness, you can't imagine what beautiful items are for sale down there. They have the junior shop upstairs, insignia. Oh my goodness, don't you think you would like a new pin? I think so. So there are things to do, places to go, things to see, and things to buy. So make sure that you have room to take some goodies home with you.
Absolutely. And I think even those, again, who aren't attending, if they know somebody in their chapter who is, maybe they get them to pick up a few little items for them as well.
I think so.
Well, Connie, thank you so much for being here with us. We can't wait to talk with you more at Continental Congress, although I'm sure you'll be running around. But thank you so much for taking the time today.
And thank you, Brooke, and I look forward to seeing you there too.
Continental Congress really is for every member, whether you're able to attend or not. Imagine just not that many years ago when you weren't able to take advantage of live streams, when there wasn't social media to be able to check and see what's going on. Maybe you saw a few pictures and you would hear what happened from others, but it's not like that anymore. So we want to take advantage of everything that's offered. So here are our 10 best tips and tricks to take advantage, again, whether you're attending or not, to be able to really enjoy Continental Congress to the full. Okay, number 1, whether or not you love it, social media. Social media is a great way to engage with Continental Congress because there's only so many things that are covered on that live stream, right? There's so many other events. So if you check social media, then you'll be able to see all of the things that your friends and others in other states are doing, especially with hashtags. Now you may say, what's a big deal about hashtags? Or what's a hashtag? Regardless, if you think about it this way, a hashtag is just like an index. Now, in your doing your genealogy research, let's say you're searching in a big, huge book, you'd look in the index in the back and see how many times or where that name is listed and located. So let's say you find Stewart's on page 250, for example. You go to page 250 and there they are. So it's kind of like that with social media. You can scroll through and hope that you see something about Continental Congress, or you could look up a hashtag. And any post where they've added that, like in this instance coming up, it's going to be hashtag or #, depending on what you call it, DARCC, like Continental Congress, 24 for 2024. So if you look that up, then you'll see anytime someone has added that hashtag to their post, it'll show up. Also, if you'd like to know a little bit more about hashtags, how they work, especially with regard to our DAR activities, this National Vice Chair, when she was one years ago, created a video all about hashtags. So we'll leave a link in the show notes so that you can see that. It's from years ago, but the information is still valid. So we hope you check that out. Now, tip number 3, for those not attending, wouldn't it be so fun if you planned a get-together with some of your other DAR members? Doesn't have to be your whole chapter, 1 or 2 or 3, whatever fits in your living room and would be fun. And join with everyone. during the opening ritual. Stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance and the American's Creed and all of it with us, because we are all DAR sisters together. Wouldn't that be so fun? And then as an added benefit, you get to be on your cozy couch and in your very comfortable living room. So that's kind of cool. But speaking of very comfortable, for those in attendance then, we have tip number 4, and that is to make sure that you bring a wrap with you for any event that happens in Constitution Hall, because it can get really chilly, as so many have heard. But what if you forget your wrap? Well, we have tip number 5, and that is visit the Crossnor School sales table there in the lobbies, and you can pick up a wrap. These wraps are made by the students there at Crossmore, and this will be a cherished possession for years to come. I know mine is. I've had mine for 5 years now, and I don't attend Congress without it. And a large wrap is a perfect way to cover up your insignia on your left side when you're going to and from the hall. So it's a twofer. Tip number 6, okay, remember that there is an incredible American Spirit magazine subscription sale going on during Congress. For those there at the hall, you'll be able to visit that Continental Congress table in the lobby. The magazine cost will be discounted by $4 for a single-year subscription and by $8 for 2-year subscriptions. So be sure to visit that table in the lobby and renew or add to your current subscription. You can also go online from June 1st to the 30th, yes, for the entire month of June, and you don't need to be a DAR member to subscribe. To take advantage of that, visit dar.org/subscribe. This special subscription will not apply by phone or mail orders and will end on June 30th, so be sure to either visit in person or online. Tip number 7, we always, whether or not we're in attendance, want to check out that Congress Herald every day. But the really cool thing too is check out the Congress photography. Remember though, not all photos are uploaded on the day events happen. We're all volunteers and many wear multiple hats. So do check back for the couple of weeks following Congress to see all the photos. And if you find a friend or a great shot of someone that you know, be sure to download it and send it to them. How great would that be to let them know you're thinking of them? Tip number 8, go to the Daughters Online community, or some call it the doc, and check out the Continental Congress committee page and also any other applicable pages. There are so many discussions there to learn from and with which to engage. Tip number 9, bring more small bills than you think you need. You almost always run out, right? We all do run out of small bills. We all share cabs together going to and from the venues. We all share Ubers or the cost of Ubers. So there's no harm, no foul if you want to go ahead and bring more small bills than you think you need, because you can always bring them back home, right? All right, last tip, tip 10. Even though this isn't necessarily specific to Continental Congress, but it's very timely, the Wright tote bag. When Mrs. Wright's administration started, we all bought, or many of us bought, myself included, that gorgeous Wright tote bag. The large blue one that stands up, has a small zippered pouch that's removable, and holds a million things you need to bring to a chapter meeting or Continental Congress. Well, have you checked the website lately? That wonderful bag is being offered at a discount, and what a blessing for those who haven't purchased it yet, or if you're like me and have just worn yours out. I didn't want to wait until I arrived at Continental Congress to purchase another one, just in case they were going to be gone by the end of June. And thank you, Mrs. Wright, for creating this sale price for us. What a blessing. So I've just ordered another bag yesterday morning, and it'll arrive in plenty of time for me to be able to fly over to DC. And so if you also want to get one, I'd suggest you go online right away. There are so many more things we could talk to about Congress, but that is all the time we have for today. Gosh, these weekly episodes just fly past, don't they? Well, we leave you today with this quote by Dolly Parton. It's hard to be a diamond in a rhinestone world. Well, keep shining like the diamonds you are, my friends. Let's celebrate the stars and stripes forever. And remember, with all of your ancestors behind you, you are the result of the love of thousands. Well, this podcast is written and produced by our incredible team of writers and editors, and we are, as always, so grateful for President General Pamela Rouse Wright and Historian General Suzanne Heskey for their constant guidance, and to Connie Olde, the Continental Congress National Co-Chair. All right, are you still here with me? For those of you still with me, try saying this elevator pitch with me as we always recite at the end of the podcast. Now, it's been about 35 episodes by now, so maybe you know it by heart. All right, here we go. The National Society Daughters of the American Revolution is a non-profit, non-political, volunteer women's service organization dedicated to promoting patriotism, preserving American history, and securing America's future through better education for children. Members are all lineal descendants of those who supported the cause of independence in the Revolutionary War. For more information, please visit dar.org. This is the DAR Today podcast. All right, how'd you do? Did you do all right? When we see each other at Continental Congress, let's record that together on camera. That'd be kind of fun.